Danny Smith here. I've had a few people ask about my switch setup in my car. I've done a video once before explaining the switch. You know, it's a XT60 mountable plug, and to turn it on, I have a male plug, or that would be the female. I have a jumper going across of it with a heat shrink on it, and you just simply plug it in to turn the car on. So people have been asking about that. It's been working great for a long time now, not one problem. Every now and then I will stick a tool down in on the pins here, spread them out a little, just a tiny bit, just to make sure that it's good and tight. Never had a problem with it. It works great, and I have some major crashes on a regular basis. So I'm gonna take this apart and show you how it's wired best I can without tearing it all the way apart. So pull it apart, take that servo screw out, and I always take it out and leave the servo, always have the servos lined up straight so I can put it right back. Take the linkage off. And I've already loosened those screws, that's why they come out so easy. They're usually really tight and hard to get loose. So take that mount off, switch to my 2mm. And you got the, I can't do that to show you. Take the screws out holding the servo tray in. And by the way, I use a Ryobi driver. Don't buy one of these, they suck. Gotta get a new one. The switch is acting up. It doesn't have a, it's got a clutch, but it's either just on or off switch, but see, sometimes that doesn't work, so not been real happy with that. I was being cheap, that's my fault. Let's take the servo out, put the car to the side. So I'm just gonna pull the tray off. So I use the balance plug for a charging port. Protec makes a plug. Unplug it here so you can see it. I've always got it plugged up. They make a plug that goes into your charger and has a balance port lead on it and a balance plug spot. So I use that, just plug it in the balance port and charge it. So when I first did it, I had an old receiver pack that was a little bit on the janky side. So every now and then, for whatever reason, the connection on the battery for the balance port would come loose. I don't know what was going on. It's just old, I guess. So I put I've got a charge port, the regular Futaba plug out the back just in case. So I've got another plug that you just take the part going around the male part of the plug, so you just have pins go in. It's pretty easy. So I'm gonna take the lid off and show you. Okay, so you can see the XT60 mountable plug just has tabs on it with a nut made into the back of it. So you just put I think it's I don't remember what size screw it is. I think it's a 3mm. It's an oddball size. It may be 3mm. But anyway, I put foam on top and bottom over here just for all electronics protection. You can see my carbon T-Works piece is broke. I gotta replace that. I'm using an LRP 2000 receiver pack. Foam on the bottom. I glue some foam to the bottom. I run my wires from the servo through. Glued a piece of foam to the bottom. I got a couple pieces of foam around the outside to protect it. And this This side over here is where I think the battery was getting some hits in there and messing the wire up. So I put a little foam all the way around, tie the wires up neat. So my power wire for my battery comes out here. The plug I put a notch in the tray. The balance plug just sits there and hangs out. The power goes down here, and let's see if I can show you this. So I've got the power just going straight out to this plug right here. But then I soldered a positive wire coming out of it, going into the receiver. Then there's a negative wire soldered into it, coming off, that goes to one side of the XT60 plug, and to the other side of the 60 plug goes to the receiver on the negative cable. So the positive cable is pretty much connected to the receiver all the time, and the break in the wire is the negative. So when you plug it in, it just makes contact on the negative, and that's it. It's pretty simple. I took everything down nice and neat where it's in the foam. It's been super reliable. I put not quite close enough. Yeah, just so these contacts don't have a chance of breaking, I solder them on to the contacts here, and I take a piece of heat shrink, drop down there, drop some shoe goo down in it, like shove it down there, let it soak down, and then shrink it. So it's got a tiny bit of shoe goo and the heat shrink. This is actually adhesive heat shrink so when I shrink it, it wraps up tight. So those connections are solid and can't just, because if you just solder it straight to there, it'll wiggle around and eventually break. So this way is pretty solid. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Now I always make sure I tuck it, leave a little room right here when you put it back together for this to go down. So you can see where it kind of touches the foam down here and rubs a little bit. So it's super solid and been crazy reliable for me so far, and been real happy with it. And that's it. I hope that explains it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be glad to explain it to you. See ya.